Hello everybody, Thomas Fleming here again. The weather is nice. It's been a long time since I've had a nice day. I'm in shorts, I have a t-shirt on. Nice day to be out, not fighting with the weather. Now, that's not a challenge, God. I appreciate it, thank you. Okay, I just did a video that I've posted. It's going to go up, I think, on the 29th on Rumble. Is that it? I made an exclusive video for Rumble where I didn't try to hold any names back, whatever. I'm talking about, who are the players in this one world government. So I've specifically named names and things like that on some key players in this. But for you guys here on YouTube, this one's going to stay here. This is the replacement version of it that will be here. I'm not going to mention names. We're going to actually talk about the beast and the harlot and see what we can find out about them. I've got one person coming into the park sometime today. Got to watch for him. That's a big truck up on the road. So if they pull in, I might have to shut it down. Like I say, I try to talk to everybody here. I want everybody to know what we're all about here. This is one of the workers here in one of his bigger trucks. So he's making some noise behind me. I don't know where he's going because I got the road blocked off. We had so much flooding that a lot of the paths, a lot of the trails were flooded. I've still got water on the trails just around me here that haven't evaporated yet. Humidity's high. And so they've closed off the public area. They don't even want anybody down there. It's 2 days now. They might open it tomorrow. Which also means the trails are technically closed if you can't get to them. But I know how to get to them from the back of our area here, so it's not a problem. I do plan on going out maybe tomorrow for a hike. I haven't been hiking the trails in some time. We've had such rainy weather. It's clay down here, a lot of this, and it's slippery. You don't want to go out there and do that. Okay, I'm waiting for the truck to get through with whatever he's doing because he's annoying. See him, he's going to go behind me. There he goes, see? I don't know what he's going to do. Oh, I know what he's going to do. They had an event here 3 days ago. 2 days ago it rained really big, bad, and the river really got washed out. It was way high and it was just covered in tons of trash. I sat there doing a video and I counted 50 basketballs during the half hour that I was there recording my video. But the day before, they went out in boats and cleaned up trash and did all kinds of stuff. They did a good job, but it was all for naught because the next day it rained so much it washed everything off from Atlanta down here. And they put a big green dumpster there, and they got 500 pounds of trash when they were out there in their canoes. It's called Sweep the Hooch. Chattahoochee is the river. Okay, so he's going down there to pick up the big green can. So they had to open the gate up for him because it's locked. All right, so we're going to look at the beast, and we're going to look at 13:1 through 8. Okay, I'm in Revelation 13, verse 1. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea. The sea is basically the world. Having 7 heads and 10 horns. Remember those. 7 and 10. On his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like were like a bear, and his mouth was like a lion. Multiple characteristics. Bear, big, ferocious, fighting. A leopard crawling around. And a lion just big and roar, you know. Characteristics. The dragon, let's see. The dragon gave him his power. The dragon, Satan. Gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of the heads of it had been mortally wounded. One of them dies, is killed. But then, and is mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. His deadly wound was healed. Important. So out of all those in there, one of them is the Antichrist. Okay, he's not the Antichrist yet. Well, he is at this point, but he's out there now working with the beast, but he's not the all-powerful Antichrist yet. Okay. And I saw one of the heads, mortally wounded. So they worshiped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" Well, we probably at one time could have in the United States, but by the time we're pathetic and couldn't. Okay. And he was given a mouth to speak great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Okay. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. Not nice. Thinking also that they can get away with this, talking to God that way. It was granted to him to make war with the saints to overcome them, and the authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. That's also the world. Now, this is not pre-trib. This is during the tribulation, because we'll be gone, so he's not going to attack us. But there will be blood of the saints on the harlot. It says that later on. Okay, all who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Okay, so that's a quick description of the beast. I'm going to wait for our truck to go by. I thought that was one of the workers because it had a white front to the truck, but because they have a big truck that has that. But this is that trash truck. Here it goes. All right, now we're going to turn over to 9. Now, God is going to take care of these guys, okay? We don't have to worry about them. We won't be here, but God's going to take care of them. I don't know if we're involved from heaven doing anything or not, but I know we're coming back at the end to help rule during the millennium, but while we're in heaven during these 7 years, I don't know. Okay, then a third angel followed them in verse 9, saying with a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment ascends forever and ever. They shall have no rest day and night." The lake of fire is for everybody who opposes God. I didn't see what that was. Incoming text. Okay, so with that, we can see that the world still has to be punished. We still got the wrath of God coming. Okay, now I'm going to turn over to 17. We're going to learn who all these people are. God does explain things, but he doesn't explain them right after sometimes. Okay, 17 verse 1. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls, this is the angel that had the 7 bowls of wrath of God, but he's now got another task. Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made to drink with the wine of her fornication. So basically, the whole world bought into what she was doing. This is the great reset, people. Okay? So she carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, adorned in gold, decked out basically, and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication, and on her forehead a name was written. Okay, we've all heard this part too, but I make sure we point out that there's a comma here. Mystery, comma, Babylon the Great. Sometimes people come up and say, well, what about Mystery Babylon? No. It's Mystery, comma, Babylon the Great. Okay. The mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Okay, so that's Babylon the Great. When God confused their tongue and scattered Babylon from eons ago, he didn't kill them. He just made them do what he told them to do when they got off the ark onto the land, scatter and fill up the earth. That was the commandment from God. But they got to a point where they go, we all speak the same language, why don't we just stay here and build a big city, and we can even build a tower. God said, I didn't want you to do that. I told you to scatter. So he did. Okay. And in verse 6 of 17, I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. So you see, she's not a good person. When I saw her, I marveled with great amazement. But the angel said to me in verse 7, why did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her. See, there's 2 components of this, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that you saw was and is not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition. So when the bottomless pit's opened up, that's also in Revelation. You can read that later on. And those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they see the beast that was and is not and yet is. See, Babylon the Great. See, it's going back in time, bringing this group forward. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. Now, this isn't saying that it's a particular one mountain. It's 7 mountains. So it's 7 locations. Positions of authority is what this really amounts to. It's not like Rome that's built on 7 hills, or San Francisco, which is on 7 hills. It's not that. Now, they could be part of it. They could be one of the mountains of the 7 mountains, but it doesn't say that either here. I'm just saying it's not one location. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. Waiting for the Antichrist, who will get the greatest, most powerful demon that's been in the bottomless pit. Not as good as Satan, but probably number 2. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th. I like the way they try to make it so you got to have God to explain it. And is the 7th. So he's the 7th of those 7 kings. He's killed and comes back and becomes the 8th. And is going to perdition. Well, that's where it said the beast from the bottomless pit's going. The 10 horns which you saw are the 10 kings who have received no kingdom as of yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. They are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. And they will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords, King of kings, and those who are with him are called chosen and faithful. So there is going to be a war between these. We know who wins. We can read to the end of the book. Satan can too, and I don't understand why he doesn't get it. This has got to be the dumbest being in the universe to think he can win against God. Okay. And he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. That's the world. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these will hate the harlot and make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So the Antichrist, which has got control of the 10, which is also one of the kings, is going to kill the harlot. His purpose is to be of one mind and to give their kingdom to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. So, those are our players figuratively from Revelation. I mentioned a number of them on my Rumble video. So, this is my video to go against the one that's up on Rumble. Check it out when you can, because I'm not going to post it here. I also said I was going to post it on Patreon, and I just found out that I can only post a 2-minute video on Patreon. I'm sorry for that. I wanted to post longer videos, but I will start posting more videos, because now with my satellite I can get videos uploaded 3 or 4 a day if I need to. And I don't plan on doing that, but I can. Ideally, 2 a day with an occasional third going over on Patreon. I can just do some updates over there. Because I appreciate everybody going over there. I want to make sure I'm living up to what I'm supposed to do for those that are helping out. But now I can do it. I'm booked all the way now, I think, until April 24th. My son is coming back, I think, on the 25th. Maybe the 26th. I have to look. Depends on what day he takes off, because he arrives the next day. It's a red-eye. Anyhow, he had a problem down in Peru, not him per se, but somebody that he worked with. And so he's staying another 2 or 3 weeks. So keep them in your prayers down there. Since he's staying another, 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know what's between now and the 25th or 6th. If you still want to help him out, you can, because he's still got to keep funding going to stay down there. All the information's in the description. If you want to help me out, I've got links in there to help out as well. Come on. I have my water or my tea. This isn't the same bottle I was drinking in my last video. I like this tea. I'm in Georgia. This is peach tea. Not to be confused with peach tree, for which we've got like 20 peach tree streets in North Georgia, in the Atlanta area. You got Peachtree Street, Peachtree Boulevard, Peachtree Avenue, everything you can think of. So when you ask where you live, oh, I live on Peachtree. Where? Which one? North, south, or what's the full name? They just weren't very creative here. All right. That was my notes. I just got to write the Bible verses down because I can't seem to remember verses. Stories I can remember, but verses I can't. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're at a 20-minute mark. That's okay. I think I've shown you all the scenery pictures. I just relocated my antenna. There's nobody in the park. I put it close to the tent initially, but I moved it out about 15 feet to see if it will help, and it's already doubled the capability. This thing's pretty fast if it's got a clear sky. I don't have a clear sky. That's the problem. You can see all the trees around me. you know. But it shoots high above them. So all I have to do is to get the antenna back far enough. It's at a pretty steep angle. It has to shoot up. There is one site that has an almost perfectly clear sight, but it's $10 a night more. I'm not going to pay for that. I just did a test on this. It was 70 meg down, 8 meg up, which is pretty good. So I'm not going to complain about that. I just hope that we can keep it working until we're out of here. Stay on watch. Passover and Easter are on the same week. That would be a good day if you were trying to line days up. Barry Ah is really good with his timelines, but like everybody else, lousy at predicting the rapture. You're not supposed to know. And the rapture is for the Gentiles. It's not for the Jews. It's not for the chosen people. Now, there can be Jews in the rapture who have become Christians. There are a lot of Christian Jews. There's an organization called Jews for Jesus that's been around forever in my timeline. So there will be Jews going up in the rapture, but they're not, as a nation, they're not at that point yet. Jesus won't come back until they recognize him for who he is and say so. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. They haven't said that yet. So keep praying for the world. Pray for Israel. They have to continue to function. They're never going to be destroyed again. But they've got a couple of wars coming up. It looks like they might be first. We don't know. I've talked about it in one of my earlier videos. We don't know. It doesn't say. That's pretty much everything in the Bible having to do with the end time prophecy we don't have a date for. We have a chronological order. But is it, 1 month in, 2 months in, 6 months in, 2 years in? We don't know. It's going to happen in chronological order, having to do with the individual. The seals are in chronological order. You have the first seal, then the second seal, then the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. But the trumpets overlap. And the seventh seal is at the end of the tribulation, which proves that it was a complete video of a playback of everything happening during the tribulation. So the seals are coming out all the way through the tribulation time frame. So you can't do them linear. You can't do the seals and then the trumpets, because the tribulation's over. They're overlapping. We have the abomination midway. We're not going to see all this stuff. It's why we're really not given the dates. It's not important. The people that are left behind are people who didn't accept Christ in the very beginning, and they're going to have to go through all this stuff to a degree. They're going to have to potentially die in the name of Jesus to be able to get to heaven. They cut heads off. Who cuts heads off? The Muslims, the radical ones. Now, the Muslim religion is wrong. It's completely wrong, but don't put everybody in the same bucket. It's this radical Shiite group that are the terrorists that are causing all the trouble. They are totally in Satan's bed. Now, there are Christian groups in these Muslim countries. They have to stay hidden, but they're there, including Iran, where the Bible's forbidden. But the Jews forbid the New Testament. They forbid Christians. I was going to a synagogue when I became a Christian, and I was kicked out. Satan is really good about getting in and creating animosity. That's his lying and creating strife is his best traits. Not very good traits, but he's good at them. All right, let me wrap this up so I can get it uploaded. We're going to meet in the clouds soon. Just hold on and don't let anything bother you that's going on. It's all a distraction. Well, here's my campsite. Surprisingly, with my satellite dish there on the ground, I'm getting about 30 to 40% access, with that being my sky view. I'd love to have no trees and have a perfectly strong signal, but that's the way it goes. The places that I'd have to camp that would have a strong signal are too far away and wouldn't be in a good spot, and I'd have to pay more. I'll build a fire here later, but I'm waiting for everything to dry out. The park is basically closed. See, there's still water on the ground in the trails here.